gaze upon the towering mesas of Thunder Bluff, proud adventurers, where the skies stretch wide and the earth breathes life into all who call it home. This is quite literally the pinnacle of Tauren civilization, a sanctuary of wisdom, resilience, and kinship with the natural world. Allow me, your humble Loremaster, to guide you across its sacred plateaus where the teachings of the Earth Mother echo on the wind, and each inhabitant tells a story of strength and unity. Walk with reverence, for you are now in the presence of those who uphold the ancestral harmony of the lands around them. For countless generations, the Tauren lived a nomadic existence as hunters and gatherers, wandering across central Kalimdor, their movements dictated by the cycles of nature and the need to evade the constant attacks of centaur marauders. These brutal foes, vying for control over the same lands, drove the Tauren to the brink of extinction. Yet, from these hardships emerged a leader of unmatched strength and wisdom, Cairne Bloodhoof, whose dream of peace would forever change the destiny of his people. Tall and imposing, the High Chieftain of the Bloodhoof tribe refused to let his tribesfolk fade into memory, longing for a permanent home for his Tauren kin. Guided by whispers of the Earth Mother and an unshakable hope that no hardship could extinguish, he led his tribe to the lush lands of Mulgore, a place untouched by the devastation that gripped much of Azeroth. It was in this hour of reckoning that Cairne's path crossed with the Horde. The Orcs, led by Warchief Thrall, had recently arrived in Kalimdor, seeking a new beginning of their own. Recognizing their shared values of honor, resilience, and shamanistic traditions, Cairne forged a bond with Thrall, a friendship that would stand the test of time and endures to this very day. With the might of the Orcs and their Darkspear troll allies, the Centaur were driven back, and their stranglehold on the Tauren was broken at last. Together, they reclaimed the sacred plains of Mulgore. Close your eyes and envision it, the dawn, breaking over the plains and the children of the Earth Mother, for the first time in living memory, standing victorious on the fertile grasslands that would become their own. Upon the highest mesa of Mulgore, the Bloodhoof chieftain envisioned a city that would become a refuge and a symbol of unity for the Tauren. Thunder Bluff, they named it, a title inspired by the natural grandeur of its surroundings. It soon became a gathering place for artisans, traders, and hunters, a city alive with the traditions of its people and their timeless connection to the land. Yet, bringing the Tauren clans together was not without its challenges. While most tribes rallied under Cairne's leadership, the grim totem Tauren, led by the elder crone Magathar, questioned his vision. Known for their aggressive nature and disdain for outside influences, the Grim Totem harbored their own ambitions for Tauren society, ambitions that outright clashed with the values of their ancestors and the unity Cairne envisioned for his people. Today, Thunder Bluff remains a place of gathering, where stories are shared and bonds are strengthened, standing tall as a proud cornerstone of the Horde. As you wander its wooden bridges and marvel at its painted totems, consider the struggles and triumphs that gave rise to this sanctuary. Here, the winds carry the wisdom of the Earth Mother, and the songs of the past intertwine with the rustling of the tall grasses. Yes, have a look around, adventurers, for this city is more than a capital. It is the heart of the Tauren's journey, their victory over adversity, and their promise to live in balance with the land they call home. Visitors to Thunder Bluff are often struck by the city's openness and warmth, both in its design and its townsfolk. The Tauren, ever guided by the respect for their forebears, extend their hospitality to all who come in peace, inviting them to share in the sanctuary they have built atop the elevated plains of Mulgore. The mesas of Thunder Bluff are more than a place of refuge. They are a canvas upon which the children of the Earth Mother have painted their vision of unity and prosperity. It is no wonder, then, that the Tauren capital has become a city alive with tradition, deeply rooted in its residents' harmonious connection to their surroundings. Though their ancestors once roamed as nomads, many Tauren have since embraced their permanent home with pride. Some, among the older generations, may occasionally long for the freedom of their itinerant past, but the majority pour their energy into building and sustaining their community. At the heart of Thunder Bluff's cultural life are the shamans and spiritual leaders who guide the young novices. They act as intermediaries between the Tauren and the elemental forces, ensuring that the balance of the natural world is upheld. Rituals are performed at the spirit lodges, where the air is filled with the steady beat of ceremonial drums and the scent of sacred herbs. Storytelling is another cornerstone of their society. It's not uncommon to see a group of Tauren elders sharing stories by the fires of their longhouses, ensuring the lessons of old guide future generations, while others prepare traditional feasts to honor the upcoming change of seasons. Festivals and gatherings are common in Thunder Bluff, celebrating the cycles of nature and the shared bond of the different tribes. During these times, the mesas come alive with music and dancing, as the Tauren honor their ancestors and renew their connection to one another. The orcs and trolls are welcomed with open arms, their aid and camaraderie celebrated as part of the alliance that helped secure Mulgore for the Tauren. The Forsaken, however, are regarded with a hint of unease. While their membership in the Horde ensures their acceptance, their undead condition stands at odds with the Tauren's reverence for life. Despite these differences, however, the Tauren's dedication to the Horde's collective solidarity fosters a cautious yet functional coexistence. But do not be mistaken by their peaceful nature. The proud people of Mulgore are anything but strangers to strength and fortitude, unmatched by many. This balance of peace and strength defines the Tauren way, ensuring that harmony is not mistaken for weakness. Here, amidst the painted totems and windswept plateaus, the Tauren have built a society and culture that honors their past, embraces their present, and looks to the future with steadfast hope. Our journey begins in Mulgore, the proud homeland of the Tauren. To reach Thunder Bluff, we've got to take the elevator. It creaks as it ascends, bringing us to the central mesa, high above the grassy plains. It's quite the view, isn't it? Thunder Bluff, the beating heart of the Tauren nation, sprawls across 4 plateaus, all linked by rope bridges that sway just enough to make one second-guess their footing. Central Mesa is like a city within a city, with its 3 levels stacked on top of each other. But our exploration of the capital starts on the lower rise, the crossroads of trade and commerce. Now, you might think that in a place like this, up in the clouds, business would be a bit lacking. But you'd be wrong. The lower rise is bustling with life. Here, the Tauren come to buy, sell and barter, to catch up on the latest news, and perhaps to find a bit of respite from the hard existence down in the plains. Look, there's the inn, an inviting sight after a long journey across the lands of Kalimdor. I've heard that out here, in the wide-open plains of Mulgore, it's the only place that never feels far away. Just follow your nose. Innkeeper Pala runs the place, and if word around Thunder Bluff is to be believed, she knows exactly how to make any wanderer feel at home. And just across from the inn, there's the bank, where Torn, Atepa and Chesmu keep the city's wealth safe. If you need to send or receive mail, the mailbox is just outside by the bank. It's the only one in the whole city, so you'll see plenty of folks stopping by to check for letters or drop something off before moving on with their day. Makes you wonder how they manage, but the Tauren are a practical race, proving that less can indeed be more. If you're in need of a good blade or some sturdy armor, or even a new pair of boots, the plethora of shops here has you covered. Jin Stonehoof has a selection of weapons that would ignite any warrior's spirit, while Hewer's Armory offers everything from cloth to mail, depending on your needs. And then there's Cairne's Smithy, the only spot in the city where you can find a forge and anvil. Cairne Stonehoof himself is usually there, hammering away with the rest of his clan working alongside him, shaping metal into everything the Tauren might need. If you're after something a bit more delicate, head over to Breads and Grains, where Fire Mistrunner sells the freshest loaves. There's something to be said for the simple pleasure of fresh bread, especially after a long trek. Let's not forget the stonework. Breck and Kerm over at Stonehoof Geology have the best supplies for miners, and they know every rock in this land like the back of their hands. It's a community, this place. Everyone knows everyone, and there's a rhythm to it all, a steady beat like the drums of thunder that echo across the plains during a storm. As you stand here, looking around, you can't help but feel it, a sense of belonging, of connection. The lower rise is the lifeblood of Thunder Bluff. Everything passes through here, every story, every transaction, every auction trade. And in a city as high and mighty as this one, it's good to know that down here, among the shops and stalls, there's still a spot where life happens in all its simple, everyday glory. Leaving behind the bustle of Thunder Bluff's trade district, we slowly ascend to the middle rise. If the lower mesa is the pulse of commerce, this is where the real work gets done. It's all about artisan skills here, the arts and crafts that keep the city running. You can feel the energy in the air, the steady rhythm of tools, the quiet focus of those mastering their craft. We've got all sorts of shops and trainers up here. First off, there's Thunderhorn's Archery. Kuna Thunderhorn runs the place, always ready with a well-crafted bow or a quiver full of arrows. Archery. Now, there's a skill that takes patience and precision. The way a well-aimed arrow can find its mark across the plains. If you're after something to eat, Nan Mistrunner's Fruits and Vegetables offers wholesome produce straight from the earth. Fresh, honest food that tastes even better in Thunder Bluff's crisp, clean air. If you've got a mind for herbs, holistic herbalism is a must-visit. Common and Nida Winterhoof are the experts here, tending to their herbs with care. They've got supplies too, of course, for those who like to dabble in the green arts, an expertise where there's always room to grow. Speaking of learning, Baina's Alchemy is where the real magic happens. Baina Winterhoof and her family, Mani and Cray, turn simple ingredients into powerful brews of potions and elixirs. I've always wondered how they keep it all straight. A bit of this, a dash of that, and suddenly you've got something that can heal a wound or grant you temporary strength. Fascinating stuff. And then there's Dawnstrider Enchanters, where Teg Dawnstrider and his family, Mott and Nata, bring a bit of the mystical into the everyday. Enchanting is a delicate art, infusing items with power, whether it's a weapon or a piece of armor. It's a proficiency that requires both skill and a deep connection to the energies of the world. Up on this plateau, it's not just about making things, it's about respecting the materials and the process. Indeed, the Tauren are master craftsmen and women, their expertise honed over countless generations. They have a way of honoring the resources they work with, taking what the land offers to create items of great beauty and utility. The residents of Thunder Bluff know that well, don't they? That to thrive, everything must work together, each part playing its role. And here, on the middle rise, that harmony is alive in every crafted piece, in every shared skill, and every quiet moment where tradition meets purpose. Climbing higher still, we step onto the high rise, where the scent of earth and fire mingles in the air. This is where the heart of Tauren leadership beats, and the course of their kinsfolk is charted. High Chieftain Cairne Bloodhoof, renowned for his wisdom and valor, resides here. His view is breathtaking, like looking out from the top of the world. His son, Bane, though often found down in Mulgore among their kin, is already proving he's cut from the same hide, taking on more and more of the responsibilities that guide the Tauren toward their shared future within the Horde. As we stand here in his tent, surrounded by the ever-watchful honor guards, our chatter seems to echo a bit too loudly. Perhaps it's time to leave Cairne to his duties, for the weight of leadership waits for no one. This plateau isn't all about politics, though. It's a place where the practical meets the spiritual. You'll find cooking and fishing trainers here, among other things. At Aska's kitchen, Aska and Nal Mistrunner pass down the traditions of Tauren cuisine, keeping alive the recipes that have nourished their people for generations. And if you're in the market for a good weapon, Rage Totem Arms is the place to go. It's not just a shop, really. It's more like a family routine forged in steel. Card, Ohanko, Etu, and Delgo Rage Totem all handle different kinds of equipment, from swords to axes and everything else a seasoned fighter might wield. Indeed, fellow wanderers, craftsmanship like that isn't just learned, it's lived. For those who prefer their weaponry with a bit more bang, Thunderhoof's firearms is just down the path. Hogor Thunderhoof here deals in guns, the kind that echo across the plains like thunder. A perfect choice for the hunters among you. And speaking of nature's bounty, you can't miss mountaintop bait and tackle. Ka and Sewa Mistrunner run this little shop, offering everything a fisherman might need. Fishing's more than just a skill here. It's almost a meditation, a way to connect with the Earth Mother herself. When it comes to nourishment, however, nothing fortifies you like a good meal. Drop in at Kodo Steak and Ribs, run by Karga Mistrunner, to savor their hearty menu, featuring dishes like mead-basted caribou, pickled pig snout, and roasted quail. It's food that'll fuel your next great adventure, or at least your trip back to the hammock tonight. And look over there, Zangan's Stonehoof, preparing to light the evening bonfire, a simple yet powerful ritual that ties the Tauren to their ancestors. During that time, the fire's glow fills the amphitheater, casting flickering light that honors the past and lights the way forward. It's a comforting thought that even in the changing world, some things remain steadfast. And in their own quiet way, even the smallest things contribute to the spirit of Thunder Bluff. Take Halper, for instance, the prairie dog vendor tucked away in a humble hut near the bridge to Hunter Rise. It's a modest corner, yet it carries a certain charm. Just a Tauren and his prairie dogs doing their part to uphold the traditions that make this city so unique. Up here on the high rise, it's more than just governance and rituals. It's a celebration of Tauren life, where their past, present, and future come together under the open sky. And whether you're here for guidance, a craft, or just a prairie dog, this great city leaves its mark on all who visit. The rope bridge creaks beneath our feet as we leave the high rise and step onto the bluff known as the Elder Rise, where the sounds of trade give way to quieter pursuits. This is where the druids and priests make their home, a place steeped in the peaceful wisdom of the Cenarian Circle. With the likes of Archdruid Hamel Rune Totem residing here, It's hard not to feel the weight of tradition and the connection to nature. The Hall of Elders dominates this rise, a grand yet humble structure where the most revered gather to honor the Earth Mother's teachings. Inside, Hamul himself often stands in quiet contemplation. The rune totem name carries a lot of weight here, with Turak, Sheil, and Nara all continuing the family's druidic legacy. Intricate wall hangings and scrolls adorn the tent, each bearing stories of the Tauren's rich mythology. Among the many writings preserved here, one recounts the mists of dawn, where the Earth Mother's breath created the golden plains and gave rise to the Tauren themselves. Another scroll tells of the sorrow of the Earth Mother, a tragic tale where the Tauren deity, heartbroken over how some of her children strayed from her teachings and fell into violence and deceit, tore out her eyes in grief, creating the sun and moon, Anshi and Musha. As told in the tale of the White Stag and the Moon, we learn of the legacy of Cenarius. According to Tauren lore, Cenarius himself walked among their ancestors, teaching them the ways of druidism and the importance of harmony with the natural world. Though much of this ancient knowledge was lost over the ages, the druids of the Rune Totem family have worked tirelessly to reconnect with these traditions. But it's not just the druids who find purpose within this tent. The hall also houses the seeds of a movement that will one day bring Tauren paladins into the Horde's fold. Within its walls, Aponi Brightmane and Tahu Sagewind engage in thoughtful discussions about the future of Tauren spirituality. They explore the idea that their beliefs need not remain static, and that growth through adaptation can honor tradition rather than betray it. Their conversations plant the seeds for what will one day become the Sunwalkers, a remarkable order of Tauren paladins and priests who harness the light of the sun, while staying true to their kin's enduring values of peace and spiritual balance. There's something comforting about their presence, a quiet, steadying force amid the chaos of the world outside. Yet not all who dwell here bring such solace. Just outside, one comes upon the hut of Magatha Grimtotem, a place that feels a bit different. I can't quite put my finger on it, but there's a sense that she's got her own plans, her own way of doing things, and her presence casts a long shadow over the peace of the city. You see, the Grimtotems are a strong lot, known for their fierce independence and disdain for compromise, and Magatha's influence stretches far. Nonetheless, in Thunder Bluff, she remains untouchable, respected by some, tolerated by others, and feared by many. Fortunately, we shan't dwell over long in the grim of such figures. Meet Bashana Rune Totem, Hamul's daughter. She's got her father's wisdom, no doubt about that, and she's just as committed to the Cenarian circle. She's often found speaking with travelers, offering quests that carry more weight than just gold or glory. Yes, the rope bridges here sway gently, connecting Elder Rise to the rest of Thunder Bluff. But there's something different about this place, something that sets it apart. It's quieter, more reflective. It's a plateau where one comes to learn, to grow, to connect with something greater than oneself. As we leave, you can't help but feel a bit more centered, a bit more in tune with the world. Elder Rise has that effect. It's not just another mesa, but a state of mind, a reminder of the balance that lies at the heart of Tauren life. Makes you wonder about the paths we walk and the knowledge we seek along the way. As we cross the swaying rope bridge to Hunter's Rise, the air seems to shift, crisper, laced with the scent of leather and wood smoke. This southern plateau of the capital is where the hunters, trappers, and tanners of the Tauren gather to practice, prepare, and provide for their people. The centerpiece of this rise is the Hunter's Hall, home to the Thunderhorn family, who diligently train those seeking to master the ways of the hunt. Holt, Urek, and Kari patiently guide new and seasoned marksmen alike, their teachings rooted in centuries of tradition. Nearby, Sark, Torm, and Kerr Rage Totem teach their warrior craft to eager, determined students, ensuring the Tauren remain ever prepared for the challenges of a tumultuous world. Outside the hall, training dummies bear the scars of endless practice, their surfaces polished by the relentless blows of aspiring trainees. This space is alive with activity. Arrows whistle through the air, spears strike targets, and voices call out in encouragement. It's a place of growth, where practice turns potential into precision. If you're a fighter eager for battle, look to Moshe Starhorn and Ruck Warstomper, two battle masters who are always recruiting for the Horde's war efforts. Their voices ring out over the plateau, rallying the brave to take up arms and defend their people. Hunter Rise is not without its charms for the less battle-inclined, though. Hesua Thunderhorn, a skilled pet trainer, spends her days sharing her expertise with wildlife tamers, seeking to strengthen the bond with their loyal companions. For those less attuned to the wilds, however, Hesua simply offers a warm smile and a polite nod. Standing at the edge of the rise, bathed in the amber hues of the evening's embrace, it's hard not to feel the enduring connection between this proud race and the golden plains of Mulgore below, stretching as far as the eye can see. As the sun slips below the horizon, we take our leave of Hunter's Rise with solemn reverence, assured that here in Thunder Bluff, resilience and harmony stand tall. Much like these windswept heights themselves, a timeless reminder of the Tauren spirit. With the wind at our backs, we at last step onto the Spirit Rise, dear wanderers, where the air feels charged with purpose. Crossing the rope bridges once more, there's a subtle shift in the atmosphere, a breeze that seems to carry whispers of the past. Nestled to the northwest of Central Mesa, this is where Thunder Bluff's spiritual essence takes root, a place where the Sky Chaser tribe, esteemed mentors of Tauren shamanism, guide their kin in the delicate dance of balance between the elements. At the heart of this plateau lies the Hall of Spirits, a sanctuary for shamans seeking deeper communion with the forces that shape their world. Inside, Beram, Siln, and Tigor Skychaser, figures of calm authority, oversee the journey of those who walk this sacred path. Pand Stonebinder, the city's first aid trainer, can be found nearby in the spiritual healing tent, quietly passing on his craft of tending to the injured. Here, visitors learn the hands-on art of mending wounds, a practical skill, yes, and one that might just save the day when your stash of healing potions runs dry. At the far edge of the rise, we encounter Crendel Bigpockets, a goblin with a flair for theatrics, managing the Zephyr transport that connects Thunder Bluff to Orgrimmar. "Step right up," he exclaims. "The Zeppelin to Orgrimmar has arrived." When asked about the safety of the voyage, Crendel flashes a sly grin and quips, "We only crashed one Zeppelin into a cliff on the test run. I don't see why everyone's so worried." As much as he might tout the Zephyr as the pinnacle of goblin ingenuity, I'd much rather trust my legs on solid ground and explore the terrain the old-fashioned way than risk soaring over the mountains in that contraption. Let's carry on. There's plenty more to discover without taking to the skies. Beyond the Zeppelin dock, Spirit Rise remains a place of quiet purpose. It's here that traditions are passed down, and the Sky Chaser tribe ensures that the Tauren's connection to the elements endures. So, take a moment to linger and look around. Listen to the wind as it rustles through the tents and the grasses beyond. Marvel at the ingenuity of the Zeppelins and perhaps exchange a few words with the shamans. And when you are ready to leave this rise behind, take a deep breath, for the journey ahead holds more than meets the eye. And so, fellow wanderers, we find ourselves at a curious turning point, one hidden just beneath the Spirit Rise. The entrance is easy to miss, and if you're not paying attention, you might just walk past it, none the wiser to the secrets concealed below. Step lightly, my friends, as we now descend into the dim tunnels leading to the pools of vision. The air grows cooler here, more humid, carrying with it a faint metallic tang. Wisps of fumes swirl lazily around our feet, and an otherworldly glow emanates from the luminous waters that give this place its name. It's said that these pools, shrouded in mystery, reveal visions to those attuned to their energies, whispers from the departed, glimpses of what was, or perhaps what might yet be. Truth or legend? That's for you to decide. Nonetheless, it's not hard to feel the weight of the unseen pressing gently against the walls of this hidden refuge. Yet, this is no mere sanctuary for quiet reflection. Look closer, and you'll see the Forsaken hard at work. It is here, in this secluded grotto beneath Thunder Bluff, that they've made their base of operations, conducting alchemical experiments and studying items imbued with arcane power. The faint scent of herbs and reagents drifts on the damp draught, mingling with the whirling mists as Apothecary Zama oversees her kindred undead. Alongside her, a number of scholars who, until recently, belonged to the living have taken up residence, offering their expertise to aspiring mages, warlocks, and priests of the Horde who seek forbidden knowledge away from prying eyes. Even those versed in portal and inscription magic can be found here. For those of you looking to bend space to their will, Birgitta Cranston herself is here to teach the ways of portal magic, allowing swift passage to far-off lands or a quick getaway when another Forsaken starts monologuing about the true nature of death. Throughout the cavern, more undead move purposefully, their trademark alchemy bubbling and hissing as they unlock the secrets of life beyond the grave. A curious sight indeed, their dedication, their craft. One might almost call it admirable, if not for the unsettling undertone that always seems to follow their kind. But why here, you might wonder? Is it distrust from the Tauren, or simply a preference for the solace these shadowy caverns provide? One can only speculate. Ah, and over there, tucked away in the gloom, you'll find the portal to the Blasted Lands, a dangerous, foreboding place. But that is a journey for another time. Come, we've lingered down here long enough. As we make our way back toward the rises, the cool air of the tunnels gives way to the sunlit embrace of the bluffs above, where a comforting warmth welcomes us once more. So, dear adventurers, take your time to wander these sacred grounds. Have a visit at one of the spirit lodges, or marvel at the towering totems that whisper of the Tauren ancestors' guidance. Speaking of totems, did I ever tell you about the time I tried to make my own totem? It was a disaster, truly. I thought I'd picked the perfect piece of wood, a fine oak branch or so I was told. But the grain was all wrong, far too brittle for carving. I didn't notice, of course.